Now we're going to hear from a care worker who worked in private residential care throughout the pandemic, and he's going to share some of his experiences. Mitchell Ryan, everybody.
Just before I begin, I just want to say to Christine Fidelma, as someone who was on the other side, I'm very sorry for your loss and sorry that that happened, please. My name is... Thanks. My name is Mitchell. I used to be a care assistant in nursing homes, and I've left since COVID. I've seen both the good and bad sides of of nursing homes during COVID. During the pandemic, I worked in two. The first nursing home I worked in, the management and staff were doing the best that they could, even though it was still challenging in the aspect of COVID and lockdowns. When someone showed symptoms or tested positive, they were moved to a specific corridor instead of being locked in the bedroom. If anyone tested positive, they were put in that corridor. They could mix with teeny shells and have social interactions. Unfortunately, though, there was still very little visits for families. I have seen many circumstances similar to yourselves, and once again, I'm sorry for that. I couldn't imagine being yourselves in that situation. I worked as a carer and an activities coordinator, and the biggest problem I noticed was the lack of interaction with other residents during COVID, and interactions lessened with family. We did our best with video calls through tablets and whatnot, but at the same time, like Jim, many of the residents, technology was a barrier and not a help. And I've lived away from my family. Talking through a phone is not the same as talking face to face, and it helps. We had residents who would watch the news every day, and obviously during COVID, it was on the news, death tolls and everything, and we had problems with mental health. Anxiety went through the roof with residents, and we had to try help with that. And there was only so much, because staff were also going through it. We had families to go home to. We had high-risk family members as well, and we were worried about bringing PPE, lack of PPE. Were we going to contract COVID? Unfortunately, some of us did. I myself had COVID. I was out of work for over 2 months. But we had the best we could in that nursing home. We set up visiting pods with intercom systems so families wouldn't be standing out in the elements like yourself, Christine. And we did our best with activities. We had concerts every Wednesday through Skype. We had lovely community around us that would help out. But unfortunately, I also worked in nursing homes that were the other side of the coin, where management were very different and support was very different. I worked in one nursing home where it was very systematic, institutionalised almost. We would have 7 care staff on a good day for 70 plus residents. And credit to the staff at the time, but we're only human. There was only so much we could do for each resident. There was often days we wouldn't have the numbers to get residents up out of bed. They would be left in bed, and because of this, bed sores would appear. If anyone doesn't know what a bed sore is, it's where someone has been left lying in a certain position for too long. And I have seen many over my time, but I had one where we could see the hip bone. It was that bad. Unfortunately, as COVID continued on, we got less and less PPE gear, less and less care staff applied. The job wasn't, people didn't want to work in care, so our numbers dropped. There was often times I had to sit with family members and residents as they were passing away, and that is something I will never forget for as long as I live. Since then, I have left care and aspect. I no longer work in it. I had a mental health break myself because of it. I ended up having to get professional help, and thankfully it was there. But I know many carers who are still in the system that haven't got help. I was lucky I had support of my family and friends. But with 7 care workers for 60 to 70 residents, it's not possible to provide adequate care. And dignity is something that lacks for these residents because of this. And I could no longer go into work and not be able to give my best. So this is why I left. The impact we endured while working with people during COVID had an awful impact on many people, myself included. And in order to fix the crisis that is in caring, caring has been made an attractive career. And I'm not talking through financial. People that care for others, they're not doing it for money. They're doing it because they've had family members pass away, or they just want to help people. I myself grew up helping my grandmother, and that's how I ended up getting into it. But it needs to be made attractive through proper management, proper care for staff as well as for residents, and PPE gear. The amount of times I put on PPE gear and it would rip, and then you're wondering, what's the point in PPE gear at all? So today I want to add my voice for the call of Care Partner and for a human rights-led inquiry. Families and residents are entitled to be listened to and have answers given. And the people who live in care homes they deserve dignity and respect. And that's why I'm here, because I found dignity and respect lacked. And that's why I'm here today. So I'd like to thank Majella.